Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Hello and welcome to the Brands That Build India. I'm Shireen Bhan. On the show today, we feature a brand that every Indian woman has heard of, bought or used. After all, it is a matter of prestige.
Obvious prestige ही खरीदेंगे because उसका बहुत सालों से नाम है. Easy to use. We don't get any technical problem in that.
गैस कम बचती है, खाना जल्दी बन जाता है.
20-25 साल आप आराम से यूज कर सकते हैं उसको. मेरी सास यूज करती थी, मेरी माँ यूज करती है, तो ऑब्वियस मैं भी वही यूज करूँगी.
Even my son can put it, means लगा सकते हैं राइस एंड कुछ होने के लिए.
ऑल इन वन, मतलब सब्जी भी बनाना है तो फट से बना सकते हैं, और हस्बैंड के लिए हलवा बनाना है तो भी फट से बना सकते हैं.
The TTK Group started in 1928 as a company that distributes international products like soaps, creams and foods. After the Second World War, it needed to create a new market under new leadership. That's when it tied up with the British pressure cooker maker Prestige. For the first 9 years, the TTK Group was only importing Prestige pressure cookers into the country. It was only in 1959 that manufacturing started in India. And even though the way of cooking in most parts of the country lends itself to pressure cooking, the first few years were a challenge.
Nearly every food that we cook in India is boiled. Whether it's a North Indian curry or a South Indian sambar or a rice, everything is boiled. Pressure cooker is ideal for things that you boil. So my father thought it would be a really great idea for India, and it turned out to be so. But the initial years were very tough because it's a gadget. And in the 50s, there were no gadgets. So we went home to home. First year we sold 650 pressure cookers.
With no TV at the time and consumers needing education and convincing to convert to the category, the primary means of communication was through demonstrations. Within the category, there was competition from Hawkins, which started in India a few years after Prestige.
We actually had restricted number of dealers called authorized dealers, and there were people who used to queue up in our branches trying to sell Prestige pressure cookers. And it was a major victory for a dealer if he got a Prestige dealership. So that's the way we started with the distribution. When you have launched many products and the competition is also there, the whole thing changes. Today, we look at every single channel available to push our products into the customer's mind and into the customer's home.
The major difference between Prestige and Hawkins was in the lid. With an outer fitting lid, Prestige cookers allowed separators to be used in the cooker and multiple items to be cooked at the same time. Something that was very popular with the rice and sambar eating south. However, this lid was considered more dangerous than Hawkins' inner fitting lid. To overcome this problem, Prestige came up with a gasket release system in the 1980s.
There was a pressure which is quite lethal if the pressure released through other than separation of the lid and so on and so forth. And it used to happen because the technology that was known, the design that was known was not good. And the people also did not know how to use the pressure cookers. So the most important product innovation came in 1982 when we actually built a very major safety device that will always work. That's called gasket release system.
In India in those days, nobody innovated. You got the ambassador, stayed the ambassador for 50 years. So unfortunately, there was no need to innovate. And then our innovations all started in the 80s. The first was the gasket release system. You see, the pressure cooker is a dangerous device, whether you like it or not. Unless it is made safely, unless it has got all the safety devices working. The safety device in a pressure cooker, unfortunately in this country, lot of spurious safety devices are available. And if you put a spurious safety device in a pressure cooker, it could be dangerous. So we had to come up with a way to make the pressure cooker safe even with the spurious safety device. So we worked on it and we came up with the what we call the gasket release system, which is GRS, from which the campaign came, "Jo bhi se kare, Prestige se kare inka." If you want your wife to be safe, you will buy her a Prestige.
लेकिन प्रेस्टीज ही क्यों? क्योंकि सिर्फ इसी में है अनोखा गास्केट रिलीज सिस्टम जिससे जरा भी खतरा नहीं रहता। ये देखिए, ये इस तरह काम करता है।
Once this innovation was out, there was a need to advertise it. The brief was to attract the non-South audience who had stayed away from Prestige because of its lid. And so naturally, the ad was to be in Hindi.
तो प्रेस्टीज ही दीजिए, जो बीवी से सचमुच करते प्यार, वो प्रेस्टीज से कैसे करें इनकार?
They wanted to position as the safest pressure cooker. Now, to say safe is to plant a doubt in the consumer's mind that, oh, was it unsafe before, kind of thing. So I had a line similarly in English, and we had a whole band of translators we used to get. And my Hindi is very basic. It's mostly derived from Hindi films and Hindi songs. So I just sat and penned this, and it just came.
आइए जनाब, आइए, क्या चाहिए?
जी वो हाँ, एक प्रेशर कुकर चाहिए।
Despite never winning an award, the proof of its success is that the campaign ran for nearly 7 to 8 years. In the early 2000s, though, research showed that the Indian woman had changed and wanted smarter products. Enter the line, are you ready for a smarter kitchen?
Prestige Smart, सबसे smart pressure cooker. क्या आप तैयार हैं और भी smart kitchen के लिए?
Once we went into Are You Ready for a Smarter Kitchen, it forced us to bring out smarter products, to actually live up to what we were trying to say, and that brought about a lot of product innovation from there, which kind of slowed down before that, and then also got in a lot more number of categories into the business, because we were now speaking more than just pressure cookers and cookware. We were trying to speak about the entire kitchen.
Soon Prestige started providing total kitchen solutions including induction cookers, mixer grinders, cooktops and stoves. And so a couple of years ago, the company wanted higher decibel advertising to showcase its range. Once again, the target audience was pan-India, trying to break the image of Prestige as a South Indian pressure cooker company.
Talk from a brand level, give a point of view on these new relationships, give a point of view on this new dynamics of cooking and home life. So therefore, it was important to do that through these really sweet stories that we told, with where Asher and Abhishek playing the part of this young Indian couple.
ओए, चाहे जिसकी बीवी पे सीटी बजा ले, मेरी बीवी पे सीटी बजाए ना।
जो बीवी से करे प्यार, वो प्रेस्टीज से कैसे करे इनकार?
When it comes to in-store presence, where again you can show the product in its true light, where you can talk about the features of the product, there you utilize that medium to its best strength. But when it came to TV, this is what we did. And TV is best for telling good emotional stories,
We did a research post the campaign, after we first unleashed it. What we found was, in the kitchen space, Prestige was completely top of mind. And what we also found, strangely, was that the recall of competitor advertising significantly dropped. This campaign has made us far more relevant and far more top of mind in markets where we had competition in different categories, who used to beat us, etc., etc. And today we find that there's a natural pull for Prestige, if they're thinking of kitchen, which is a long, sustainable benefit that we hope to enjoy because of this campaign.
Only 50% of the company's A&M budget goes on mass media spends, with a large part being spent on in-store promotion. Prestige hires in-store promoters and provides training for sales consultants in Prestige Smart Kitchen stores.
The franchisee model works very simply on the basis that you buy the entire range and stock, and we are responsible for bringing into our outlets. It means you do the in-store marketing, we do all other marketing methods to bring in the customers into your stores.
Prestige is constantly looking to occupy more kitchen space. It already enjoys leadership position in the pressure cooker category, induction cooktops and non-stick cookware. With continuing innovation and aggressive marketing, it believes that this market is far from saturated.
As the incomes grow, that can be a huge growth opportunity for us. The kitchen itself is open to a lot of innovations today. People are doing two things. They're not keeping the same utensils for 5 years and 10 years. They want to exchange. So that's a great opportunity.
We were the first, for example, to take the education route, and we were also the first to actually use service camps as a marketing tool. So we would constantly go and run service camps in a place and actually do free service just to get people to get their products checked up and then look at our new products if we have to. We use the upgrade or exchange scheme. For example, we run an anything for anything exchange scheme. So we take back anything from your kitchen and allow you to buy anything in return.
The product, service and marketing innovations have paid off. As a result, today only 1/3 of Prestige's revenues come from pressure cookers and only 50% from the south. Its boundaries are expanding, and so is its ambition. Prestige, so much more than a pressure cooker brand. It's time now for us to take a short break. But on the other side, we get brand expert Santosh Desai's views on Prestige's advertising and communication strategy.
Because the brand is so strongly associated with pressure cookers, I think for people who are not in the market, I think they would probably not know what Prestige offers now.
Welcome back to Brands That Build India. We're talking about the iconic Prestige brand, which started with pressure cookers, but now offers total kitchen solutions. I'm joined by Santosh Desai of Future Brands, and that's exactly my first question to him. Santosh, thanks very much for joining us on the show. Prestige pressure cookers, that's what this brand has been known about, but very few people, or maybe not too many people, actually know that 1/3 of the company's revenues now don't come from pressure cookers.
I think it's true that, even now, because the brand is so strongly associated with pressure cookers, I think for people who are not in the market, I think they would probably not know what Prestige offers now. But if you were to look at the numbers, I think that tells another story. So there is clearly a significant number that is buying Prestige for other kind of products. And I think,
in a sense, the brand extension seems to have worked.
Absolutely. I think, in fact, if anything, this is quite an extraordinary performance. For a company to be in a category which had a very Indian kind of a feel to it, and pressure cookers in the way in which they are used are quite an Indian phenomenon. And from there, and this is low tech, you would imagine.
Yeah, but playing very key, the key focus was playing on the safety issue.
Playing on the safety issue, which is again, which is if you were to look at it, is a basic.
Yeah.
The fact that something should not blow up.
Exactly.
Is the least that you expect. Yeah, that's the least that you expect.
Yeah.
But from there, to find a trajectory of innovation and to stay relevant in spite of dramatically changing times, I think that is a very interesting story.
Santosh, on that note, let's very quickly take a look at what some people that we spoke to had to say about the Prestige advertising.
Do you remember any ads of Prestige?
The one with
Abhishek and Aishwarya's.
Yeah. Abhishek Bachchan and Aishwarya Rai.
Yeah, the one with Aishwarya and Abhishek, I think.
वो अभिषेक बच्चन ऐश्वर्या राय के लिए ही याद रहता है.
So it tempts us to buy Prestige pressure cookers.
Prestige ad में कुकर के अलावा और भी प्रोडक्ट्स दिखाते हैं. आपको मालूम है कौन से?
Prestige कुकर के अलावा
नहीं, उतना याद नहीं, लेकिन ऐसा है. नहीं है.
इलेक्ट्रिक जैसा रहता है, सिकड़ी जैसा, और उस पे खाना पका सकते हैं.
Stove, I guess that what do we say? Induction stove, I guess.
माइक्रोवेव है, गैसेस है,
मिक्सर ग्राइंडर्स है उनके.
फूड प्रोसेसर भी है.
उसमें वो अभिषेक आटा गूंथता है ऐश्वर्या के लिए.
Do you remember the famous Prestige tagline?
Yeah. What is that?
याद नहीं है.
I think it was.
हाँ, जो बीबी से करे प्यार, वो प्रेस्टीज से
कैसे करे इनकार.
तो हम लोग भी जो फैमिली से करे प्यार, तो प्रेस्टीज से कैसे करे इनकार.
Santosh, it's a memorable tagline. You and I both remember it. It reverberates. But is it lazy advertising? Does it keep pace with the times?
I think that's a legitimate question to ask. The fact that it is a great asset. It has huge recall value, and at the time it did very well for the brand. But times have changed, and they've changed dramatically. And if anything, this is a little, it harks back to the past. It's patronizing. Some would say it is sexist. So I think at this time, it is perhaps time for them to have moved on and not been quite as defensive. I think there's a little bit of defensiveness when it comes to this part of their strategy. Everything else, they're on the front foot. I think they're doing a wonderful job.
So in a sense, they're being burdened by the legacy. They're being burdened by the success of the past.
Absolutely.
And not being able to break through that.
I think so. I think the fact is that, I'm sure they've tried, enough new things. It's another thing that we don't really remember, perhaps what they were doing in the intervening period. And so they've gone back to something that works. The problem is that it works in a certain context. And I think it's time for them to shed, the fact is that they moved beyond the pressure cooker, which was their legacy.
But the communication doesn't reflect that.
They don't reflect. I mean, the pressure pan, if you even remember, you do remember some of their earlier innovations. But some of the newer innovations are the ones that, they haven't found a consumer connect. They must have advertised those, but they haven't found a consumer connect, and they need to.
Absolutely. Santosh, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks very much for joining us on Brands That Build India.
1/6 of our post-tax profits must go towards CSR activity, not charity.
On the Brands That Build India today, we look at the Prestige brand, a brand that started with imported pressure cookers and is now offering the widest range of kitchen-related products in the country. By building a dedicated team of exclusive distributors and franchisees, Prestige has got itself even more endorsers.
The kitchen appliances and cookware market in India has many players, a few national, many strong regional players and a huge unorganized sector. In neighborhood stores, appliances and cookware tend to be stacked haphazardly and sold even more so, which is why Prestige decided it was time to get into the market with its own retail stores. The Prestige Smart Kitchens, exclusively meant to stock and sell Prestige products.
All products have a very good quality control, well serviced backup, and dealers have good lucrative schemes like marketing division, companies like administrative division, they are very strong.
We started with about 93 lakhs business in the first year. Over a period of time, about in the 10th year, we did around 3.8 crore business. So now whatever the challenges over a period of time posed by it may be big formats, or it may be nearby PSKs, or it may be now the recent is that e-commerce. Still we are into plus. We never came down as a store. We have not come down.
In keeping with its total kitchen solutions promise, Prestige offers more than the traditional South Indian cooking products. It offers even Western-style barbecues and Chinese-style woks. Tapping every distribution method, these products can also be bought online. Prestige prides itself on adding value and constantly improving the quality of life for its customers. It shows the same ethics in its CSR activities.
My mother set that up with a philosophy again, that 1/6 of our post-tax profits must go towards CSR activity, not charity. Please understand the difference. We don't give money. We actually run things with the money that we can afford to. That we run things, and we run several things. For example, we run a school in a place called Manjakudi in Kumbakonam district in Tamil Nadu. 3,500 students, absolutely free. We run a vocational center in the same place, and that's also completely free, and that is about 1,000 students. We run hospitals for alcoholics and drug addicts in Chennai, which is largely free, but is world famous, won an award from United Nations and all that.
Prestige, a constantly evolving brand with an unchanging set of values.
Well, if the way to the heart is through the stomach, then Prestige is on the right track. The way to the Indian household is definitely through its kitchen. On that note, it is time for us to wrap up this episode of Brands That Build India. We hope you enjoyed watching it. Do tune in same time next week. Till then, from the entire team, goodbye and many thanks for watching.
Focus, ideate, innovate, enable.